high-capacity crowd in a sold-out arena here in downtown Minneapolis. Big Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals getting going right now. Thanks for tuning in. 2K Sports presents the NBA. With Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, Kevin Harlan. And we have a surprise guest, folks. There he is, the four-time All-NBA first-teamer, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, which is probably most happy about, most proud of, Kevin Garnett. Thanks so much for joining us for the game.
Thank you for having me, man. Shout out to 2K. You know what it is. 2K, right. OBF all day, you know, yeah.
You can't play 2K while we're doing 2K.
No, we can't play it right now, but I'm waiting. Shout to Shaq on this cover. Shout to my dog, Shaq. That's dope. That's what's up. Gas Shaq is on there. Right. Love that. That's what's up. These are deserving, man. That's what's up.
Taking a look at Minnesota. They need the boost here from the hometown fans, trailing 2-0. It is critical for them to start to edge back into this series.
And an opportunity here to change the momentum of this series. The odds are stacked against them after losing those first two on the road, but now in their building, their fans, it's their chance to get back into it.
We've got a chance here to set the floor, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for this one. On the court for Seattle, you've got Rozier. Davis is out there with Anunoby. Then there's Anderson, and it's Richardson in at the 2. And they turn over the 24-second buzzer, signaling the shot clock violation. First quarter, just over a minute played. Kevin, one of the biggest moments of your career, the 2008 championship with the Boston Celtics. Talk about the camaraderie among that group of players.
You know, Kev, I can tell right away that we had something special getting together right in September, right before the year started. We started working out together. We started sharing concepts and how we saw the game. Right away, I could tell that the appetite was there. 1 through 15 guys. It's very rare that you're able to get that many guys in that early. As soon as Danny, signed guys, we were in, we were lifting, we was just, around each other, understanding each other, playing a lot. We was playing a lot. Then, fortunately, we was able to go off to Rome that year. Rome was a good distraction for us because we had to lean on one another.
Bond a little bit.
Seriously, because, none of us spoke Italian. If we wanted to go somewhere, we was always 3-4 deep, and no one was asking and no one was telling us to be with each other. We were just naturally being with each other so much that whenever you saw us to the restaurants, 9, 10 of us, that carried over to practice. Then we got 2 teams that are very competitive. Doc is letting us be who we want to be, and he's letting us play with passion, and our practices are over the top aggressive, and to the point where it's too competitive to where he has to come in and separate us and, take the balls and cut the lights out and get us out of here. To the point where he just lets us go. Now we start bringing concepts to him. He started trusting out IQs. Now we start putting a couple things on defense. Thibodeau's in there. He's implementing stuff. When this flow is going like this, you don't know that you're going to win it all, but you know you're on the waves of something special. And that's how that felt.
In the corner, it's Wiggins. And here in the first, about 3 minutes in, here's Towns. Another miss by Towns.
Something affected him on that shot, and it wasn't the defense.
And Kevin, you've recently gotten a chance to do more TV. Your show Area 21 has been tremendous, and the critics love it. Talk about this chapter of your career.
Well, it was something that I wasn't planning on, but, Turner brought me a great concept, and it fit the mold of what any man cave is, and that's really what it is. But the fact that we can go in, watch games on multiple channels, see multiple games, articulate it, give it from a perspective of a player, coming fresh out of this generation of players, giving understanding to this generation of players is very important because these players now are very different. Teaching these young players, still being mentors of these players, very important. And still loving this game. It's still a beautiful game. Man, the game is growing. I'm watching these kids do all types of different stuff, man. The creativity in our game now is so heightened. So, yeah, I'm having a bunch of fun, which is one thing I never forgot. The piece of advice you've always told me, man. So continue to enjoy what you do, and it'll show. And I'm hoping that I'm making you proud of that, Kay. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, man.
You're an incredible ambassador to all of those things. The game, the fun of life. You capture a lot of the fun of life.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm enjoying it. So, hopefully it shows.
And Kevin, you played for some great coaches, but is there any coach you would have been interested to work with that just didn't get a chance to? Say, Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson.
Those are great coaches. I've had very, very little time with those guys.
Maybe in all-star games and things like that.
I have. But, when you do all-star games, you let yourself go. You open up yourself to try to, be there and be present with the guys. Yes. Open up, hey, what's up? What's been up with you? How's the year for y'all? Y'all playing well. We're going to beat y'all when we see y'all, blah, blah, blah. But, you're very cordial. And, you're not talking too much about X's and O's. But you do share perspectives. You do share, philosophies. Pop is a great mind. I had a chance to sit with him a couple times. Phil's a great mind. Phil's super deep and loves the philosophy of. I haven't had a lot of time with those guys. Doc Rivers, shout to Doc, and I know he doesn't get a lot for his philosophies, but he's very enriched with philosophies and styles and bringing teams together and trying to make sure that guys stay connected, stimulated. He would always tell us, never get bored with the process.
Wow, that's so intriguing. Interesting to hear. Kevin, when you entered the draft, no player had made the jump from high school to the NBA in 20 years. And what were your emotions when your name was called number 5 overall?
Oh, man, I remember that. It was
17 years old?
17, just turning 18 at the time. I was in like a whirlwind, to be honest. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of stuff that goes up into the draft. Things that I wasn't aware of. You're training twice a day. You're trying to get ready for the combine. You're trying to get ready for pre-draft. You got to do workouts. This is all new to me. On top of still going to high school, trying to, graduate and stuff. So I figured it out. I hustled and I bustled and I juggled a bunch of different things. But once your name is called, it's almost like the culmination. It all comes together. It's a special moment for just you and your family and your loved ones and ones around you. And when my name was called, it felt like the world had stopped and everything was going very slow.
Kevin, of all the people you've faced, who is the toughest guy for you to score against? Down low, let's pick that geography. Who is the toughest to score against down there?
Listen, I know a lot of people. I've always said Rasheed Wallace. I've always said Tim Duncan. They're probably the two that brought a different level of play out of me. But shout out to Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson, I don't know if people know this, but Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson was one of the better defenders in the post. He was very strong. He was very long. He didn't go for any counters. He was very disciplined. He was well prepared because he was a veteran. The refs let him get away with a lot, touching and grabbing. He knew when to be physical in some positions. He knew to do what we call work early. He would meet you at the three-point line, and he would be fighting you, and you would post up probably like a step outside the three-point line. Like, he was really good at some of his techniques and how he was able to control the post. After Cliff left the game, I watched a lot of his tape, and I took a lot of his...
No kidding.
I had to, because it was so effective against me that I was able to use it against other post players on the defensive end.
I never knew that story.
Dennis Rodman was another guy I watched a lot. Akeem Olajuwon I watched a lot because these guys were laterally very similar to my makeup. Akeem Olajuwon was long. He was able to laterally move with you. I was laterally able to move with guards and able to laterally to slide with some of the forwards and some of the more laterally gifted power forwards. And with that, able to get my feet together, being able to block shots, challenge the rim, stuff like that. Things that, if you're going to get better at something, you got to go and reach and find the great ones that did it before you and take it, and then I was able to apply it, and I did those things.
Young's shot is off. And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to David Aldridge.
Well, Tom Thibodeau had a few minutes to share. He had the demeanor you would expect for a coach in his situation. After dropping the first two in hostile territory, he acknowledged the hard road ahead. He said we didn't get it done on the road, and there were some missed opportunities. So now we have to regroup and take care of business at home. Simple as that. Kevin?
Thanks so much, David. And Kevin, there was such a whirlwind around your trade to the Celtics from the Timberwolves. What were your thoughts and emotions at that time?
You know what? Being in Minnesota at that time, it was very difficult for me. I didn't necessarily want to leave. I had a goal to bring the city a championship, and I felt like I could do that. nothing worse than when you have to deal with the reality of change. I'm not the one for change, even though I do know in order to process or progress better, you have to embrace some change. So with the help of my friends from Chauncey Billups, Teron Lou, I sat and I thought through it with those guys who have been through the trade process and talking to me, getting me to understand my options. And once I understood all my options, then I just, it was about what was best for me and my fam.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. Now, here's McConnell. Looney with the bucket.
And really, it's been a major aspect of their offense in the early stages here. Their success working the ball inside and getting points from close range.
Out of bounds. Seattle will take possession. And Kev, you had a voice in where you'd go from Minnesota. How did all that play out?
I sat with my wife, and we all kind of went through it and thought Boston was the best situation. Paul and I had great bones and great history that I don't think the world really knew. We have been knowing each other since 14, 15. I played with each other younger, and I had a chance to play with Cole, but that really didn't go through. A lot of people don't know I had a chance to play with Steve Nash also, but I wanted to play with Stoudemire, and that wasn't the case. So I decided to go to Boston. Ray and I knew each other from South Carolina, and then the Rondo piece was a huge piece for me. I followed the youngster in his first year and just watched his growth a little bit, even though I was in the Western Conference. And then when I got to Boston, I knew they had good pieces like Kendrick Perkins and Tony Allen. I wasn't aware of the Big Baby piece yet, and then I wasn't sure on the Posey part. And then all of a sudden, it started to come together. Eddie House, and then all of this, and
great names.
I mean,
great names.
Just all alphas,
Yeah,
all guys
yeah.
able to stand up and speak for themselves and be articulate, and all different facets, and very similar facets of who we are personality-wise. And a lot of people just don't know that team there, I don't think another coach could have coached that team other than Doc Rivers.
We come back right after this. We welcome you back here to the coverage of the Western Conference semifinals. And let's quickly... Seattle leading by 4. Kevin, we know how hard the players work, the elite players work the hardest. We know the coaches work so hard. Everyone in that coaching staff, everyone wants the game called right. Is an added referee something that would help the game in any way, do you think?
More eyes on it.
We got 3 right now.
Listen, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
And we're yelling at those 3. Listen, more eyes on the prize, if you will. So be it. It's just about how the game is. You want referees to be consistent. You want referees to also let the guys play a little bit. That's just my preference. I'm not a league official, nor do I know flow and momentum. I'm just talking from a fan perspective and watching it.
Yes.
But, as a player, find things to complain about because that's what a player does when it comes to advantage versus disadvantage. But fourth ref, I don't think it would hurt. To me, it would be about how they were calling it.
Caspi is out there with Towns. Then there's Monroe. Then it's Will Barton. And it's Farrell. And at the point guard. So that's the lineup for Minnesota. Here's McConnell. That one, no good. And it's the Timberwolves taking it the other way. They look to start a new streak after losing on Monday.
Yeah, they couldn't do any better than a shooting percentage in the low 30s on that night, guys, and that's pretty much a deficit.
Yeah, that's just an uninspired performance. Didn't execute well, and even the few times they did, the shot still had a hard time falling.
Taylor's checked in for Minnesota. The Timberwolves shooting their 3rd free throw shot of the game. Kevin, what a lot of fans don't get to see is all the work players do behind the scenes at home, before games, after games, on off days. Can you talk a little bit about that? Getting your body ready from the end of one game to play the next game. I mean, I've seen it, but you talk about it.
The wellness starts right after you stop playing. The minute you come off the court, you're iced. You got to do progressions where right after the game, you shower. Obviously, you got to get massages. You got to get some type of wellness on your legs just because you're running so much. People don't know that you have to lift weights. You know, when we was in Boston, we lifted every other day. We had a strenuous strength program. Shout out to B-Do. Brian Dew, who's our strength coach up there, never let us get a day off. And if you didn't lift weights, then we find you as a players. Players find you. Because it's important for you to come in here and be strong. We need everybody to be as strong as they can be. So you have to lift. And then actually, you know, you practice. But after practice, you have to put time into your own personal game.
Right. So much goes into it. It's amazing. Kevin, with intentional fouling, with poor free throw shooters being sent to the line currently, the hack of Drummond, hack of Shaq, I mean, all this stuff, hack of DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on all that?
You know what? I like it. You know what it's going to do? It's
part of the strategy?
It's going to put the strategy, and this is part of it. And you know what you got to do? It's going to make all those guys you just named work on their free throw. Because if any advantage that you have in the game, coaches are going to expose it. Coaches are going to expose all weak points, as they should, as any sport, and as any great is going to expose any weaknesses in defenses. He's going to look to expose those things. So this is one of the things that dictates the game, and these guys are going to have to be better. It's going to push them. It's going to make them better players.
Kicks it to Looney. Too long in the paint, and he's hit with a 3-second violation. Seattle shooting their first foul shot of the night. And so he hits the technical free throw. And people may not know, KG, that you're not just a broadcaster for 2K, but you're a member of the 2K community.
Have you been keeping up with the community, man?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Man, listen, shout out to all the 2K players out there. I'm Jizzle Lord. Y'all know what it is. I'm Jizzle Lord 5. Shout out to my OBF team. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to Dex. Shout out to Bug. Shout out to everybody out there playing. Wow. Right. We definitely.
Wow.
It's all good. You know, I'm OBF. I'm about the team. I'm gang. You know what it is. Jizzle Lord. Y'all holler at me. Y'all know what it is, 2K. Right.
Just 4 to shoot.
And guys, right now, the defense mentally not there. Can't afford too many of those in a close game like this.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. Almost a free run for him there.
Well, yeah, and you have to give him credit, too. Makes the right read, go straight to the rim.
No one near him. The Timberwolves get it back in a new 24.
Look, he had all the time in the world to get the jumper off. Maybe it was too much time.
Ripped away. One-on-one here. From 11 feet away. Another shot. That's good, and the Seattle lead is cut down to just 1 on the basket from Caspi.
Oh, man, and in transition, Caspi is just a blur. He moves down the floor so quickly and creates a lot of easy scoring opportunities for himself.
Pass to Giles. McConnell with it. Taylor's there. The shot by Looney, no good.
A defender nowhere near him. He still can't hit it. He wants that one back.
And Burton throws it down.
And Caspi is very gifted in getting the ball to his teammates. A selfless player who keeps his eye out to dish the rock whenever he can.
And it's Seattle with the ball. Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Timmy's very crafty, man. Our battles used to just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time. Michael Jordan, Elijah Malone. You know, the time where the forward position was a very, very tough position. But Timmy was one of them ones, man. Used angles very well. Was very long. Had a lot of counters. Very strong, and had an inner beast that people really didn't really talk about because you didn't really necessarily hear or see it. But man, Timmy's one of the best, man. It's not by coincidence. He's one of the ones.
And the Timberwolves making a change here. Young's checked in. Butler's gone 1 of 4 so far. Anderson outside. Davis sets a screen. And Anderson kicks to Rozier. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. Reed against Butler. And the rejection by Monroe. Young with the ball. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Pass to Wiggins. Young outside. Butler in the corner. Over Reed. one off the back iron and out. Butler's gone just 1 of 5 from the field. Hey, Kevin, when you play with Andrew Wiggins, you saw firsthand just how explosive he can be. What impresses you most about where he is right now and where he could go?
Man, Andrew's potential is through the roof. I've told him this countless times that when he wants to, he can. There's nothing that he can't do. It's just about his consistency and how he sees that. Man, I told him, man, the world is his. I've yet to see a player in our league that has the athletic ability that he has, mixed with the IQ and being able to be players on both sides of the ball if he wants to. This kid is super long, he's fast, he's deceptionally fast. Like, I don't think people know how fast he really is. Great shooter, has a great IQ, not a good IQ, a great IQ. I told him, man, I would like to see him with a little more oomph in his step. But if you know Drew, he's laid back. He's super cool, he's smooth with it, and his game reminds you of Steve Smith, and Smitty used to, rock people to sleep. He has a very good patience to his game.
Kevin, over the years, we've seen a number of super teams develop, and in the Warriors' case, it's not the big 3, it's the big 4. Is this a trend you see continuing? You did it in Boston.
Man, look,
you were the original big 3.
It seems like it, eh? Right.
You were the original big 3.
You know what? It's like an innovative time. I didn't even know that we were doing that. Right, because LeBron come back and do what? LeBron goes to
Miami. He's the big 3 right down there. Yeah.
And then what? Then it just starts morphing into these different things, right?
KD to Golden State.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What do you think of that?
I think this is pretty much the norm. You know what? Listen, I think KD took a lot of heat for it, but when you really think about what he's doing, is that, I say 20 years from now, when he sits back, he wants to talk to Steph, he wants to talk to Draymond, he's talking to Clay. These are all going to be 3 greats with him. I'm just talking about those 3 guys. He's playing with 3 other greats. I'm sorry. If you had a chance to play with 3 other greats in the prime, Kev, you're going to do that. And if you don't, then something's wrong with you.
Towns with the steal. And now the Timberwolves on the break. And it's Butler with the jam.
And everyone knows Butler is a lockdown defender, but also terrific at coming up with steals.
Anderson outside. To the inside. Davis, the pass to Anabogu. And they immediately answer back with the dunk at the other end.
Oh, and he went for the two-hander on the slam, using some muscle.
Some urgency from him there, sure. And Kevin, you look at the star players joining up today. At the end of the day, it's about winning.
The game is about winning. More importantly, it's about these bonds that you're able to establish. Those guys are going to be brothers forever. Now, I get the whole OKC, him leaving, right? But this is morphing into something else, and I think that this is going to be part of the norm.
Championships.
It is, man, and that's what you're in this for. You go to build these things. I don't know if I would have done it like that, but I understand it. I get it. He's playing with 3 other greats that's making the game more efficient for him, and it's working. But yes, I see this being the norm in the league.
Timberwolves leading by 3. Butler kicks to Towns. Back to Butler. Young for 3. Good, and as this goes to Towns.
Well, that's a shot they'll be happy with on every trip, no matter who's taking it.
Adding a lot of flavor to the mix, Kevin Garnett. Kevin, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Hope you join us again sometime.
Man, Kevin, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always great to see you, man. Anytime you need me, you holler at me, all right?
Future Hall of Famer and a terrific person, Kevin Garnett. What a treat it is, Greg, to have KG with us. Always offers so much insight. Played the game for an amazing 21 seasons.
Yeah, when he first entered the league, everybody was wowed by the athleticism. But what became more apparent really early on were the instincts for which he had for the game. And that's what he brings, I feel like, to the broadcast.
Dorian Finney-Smith's checked in for Seattle. Out of bounds. Seattle will take possession. There's 38 seconds left in the first half. The feed to Richardson. Out left to the wing. Here's Rozier, defended by Young. Seattle missing again.
Well executed, great rhythm. You've got to finish that one.
Yeah, coming off of a good pick, you want to get that. When he gets the separation he needs, I know he would love to have that one back.
Now the pass to Butler. Towns, a screen on Richardson. Here's Wiggins. And we're through the first half of basketball here in what's been a good one. The Timberwolves on top as they end the second quarter on a 14-6 run. And we'll...
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
And a heightened atmosphere we have here this evening for NBA playoff action. Hey everybody, I'm Ernie Johnson. Got Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith by my side. Looking at Minnesota, they're facing a second half that will either put them on the brink of elimination or breathe new life into this series. One thing's for sure, they can't let this game get away and expect to have a decent chance to rebound from a 3-0 deficit. And Kenny, what did you see out there from the Timberwolves?
Well, their success was largely about second chance points. They crashed the offensive boards heavy. And
that's it for halftime. Glad you could join us as now...
The buildings of downtown Minneapolis all lit up on this lovely evening. Welcome back, everyone, to the Twin Cities. And Seattle trails by 5. On the court for Seattle, we've got Davis. Rozier's out there with Josh Richardson. Then there's Anderson, and it's Anabogu in at the 4 slot. Anderson dishes to Davis, and that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Anderson.
Cheap turnover. You got to make sure your target's ready for the pass before you let it go.
Minnesota leading by 5. Wiggins outside. Screen by Young. Here's Butler. Doesn't go for him. Seattle goes the other way with it. Pass to Rozier. Anderson against Wiggins. Anderson passes to Anabogu. Here's Davis, and it's Davis finishing it off.
And he's an automatic finisher when he gets into that area.
He is, and he picks the simple one-hand stuff to get the 2 points. On the wing, Wiggins. He's covered by Anderson. Here's Favors. They get it back. Here's Towns. Makes it off the glass. Towns has got 9 points.
And from day one, Towns has been one of the NBA's top post players. A versatile, well-rounded game on the low block. It doesn't hurt that he can step outside and knock down the jumper either.
Richardson kicks to Davis. Shot clock at 6. Back to Richardson. And stolen by Favors. Anderson against Wiggins. Kicks to Young. Here's Towns. Seattle grabs the miss. Anabogu's got his 6th rebound on the night.
And they're 1 of 4 here to start the second half.
They set the pick. Rozier the pass to Anabogu. Great D that time from Favors.
Does well to burrow his way into the post, but loses his touch on the finish.
And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
Butler is just hard to guard inside. Really good at using his body to create contact against the defense at the basket.
T.J. McConnell, he's checked in for Seattle. And so Butler nails both of them.
And as great of a free throw shooter as he is, it's still a part of his game. He works very hard at it.
The dish to Richardson. Feeds it to Davis. Anderson outside. Pass to Anabogu. Kicks it out to Richardson. Shot clock at 5. Seattle needs to get off a shot. Baseline jumper. time, the shot no good, a bit short.
And as he squares up for mid-range, the defender right in his face.
Well, he did a great job of staying patient, letting the man make his move, and getting right up on the jump shot. Well, he caught him in stride with the lead pass. Now that was time.
Yogi Ferrell's checked in for Young. And then for Seattle, Giles checked in for Deyonta Davis. And it's Kevon Looney in for Anunoby. Seattle calls timeout. And as the coaches go to the clipboard to outline their strategy during the timeout, the players getting a chance to rehydrate with some Gatorade. That's key to staying fresh all the way to the final whistle.
And Kevin, it really is. And every one of these players knows it. They're all making sure to stay hydrated. It's impossible to play your A game if you're not getting enough to drink, especially towards the end of games when the physical toll of a long contest really starts to add up.
McConnell, and no good. The try spell continuing for him. And the foul on Will Barton. That is his first foul of the game.
Oh, great defense there. Anticipated the play and got there first.
Caspi, he's checked in for the Timberwolves. And Seattle also making a change. Powell's checked in. Pass to Looney. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. It's Anderson with the drive. Pass to Giles. Here's McConnell. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass. McConnell's got his second bucket of the night.
And that solid play in the paint continues here, guys.
Ferrell kicks to Caspi. Towns the screen. Outside Butler. Towns high post. Here's the pass to Ferrell. With the teardrop, and it's Seattle with the rebound. Here's Giles. He kicks to Anderson. To the left side wing. It's Powell on the wing. Puts up a three. The offensive rebound goes straight through the defender for the dunk. Draws the foul. He'll go to the line. That one is on Towns.
And guys, that's his game. I mean, battling in the paint and cashing in on those second chance opportunities.
And Greg cashing in hard. I mean, man, oh man, he puts an exclamation point on that dunk.
Yes. But guys, the defense knows he has this ability, correct? Yet no one thinks to put a body on him? Incredible.
The Timberwolves have been perfect so far from the free throw line, 6 for 6. And the first one drops.
And if they continue, Kevin, their outstanding free throw shooting, that'll help them seal the deal.
And so Butler nails both of them.
And Butler does so many things well. I mean, shoots a high percentage from everywhere, and a gritty defender. He does it all.
Reed the pass to McConnell. Back to Reed. Here's Looney. Tries again. Barton with the rebound. Timberwolves leading by 7. He feeds it to Towns. The rebound by Giles. Giles has got rebound number 5 here tonight. McConnell kicks it to Looney. Pass to Giles. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2. That one is on Towns.
Yeah, good job to take it right at them.
For Seattle, they have gone 6 of 8 from the free throw line tonight. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Minnesota with the ball, leading by 5. Here's Ferrell. He's covered by McConnell. Here's Towns. And he tries off the glass, but it's no good.
The shooting numbers just aren't there yet in the quarter.
Passes it to McConnell. Out of bounds. Minnesota takes possession. Timberwolves leading by 5. Here's Ferrell. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Caspi. Another miss by Minnesota.
Not easy to miss a clean look inside like that, but he manages to do it.
Pass to McConnell. stolen by Butler. The Timberwolves again can't hit.
He's been off target for the most part, but it hasn't held them back as a unit.
And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. For Seattle, they have shot 8 of 10 from the line. That's an even 80% free throw shooting here.
This is as good as it gets from the charity stripe here in the second.
The Timberwolves making a switch here. Monroe's checked in, and the Timberwolves with possession here. It's a 3-point game. Towns the screen. Barton against Reed. Teardrop shot. That's tipped, and they get it back. Seattle trails by 3. Powell inside. Defended by Butler. Here's Looney. He dishes it to Powell. 6 on the shot clock. Right wing. The pass to McConnell. High arcing shot. Here's Giles. Rebounded by the Timberwolves. Towns has got double-digit rebounds now in the game. Here's Farrell. He's covered by McConnell. For the 3. Here's Monroe. Count that one. Monroe's got 10 points.
His shooting has been outstanding. Definitely one of the reasons they're up in this game.
McConnell passes to Looney. It's Powell on the wing. Defended by Butler. Looney kicks to McConnell. Powell inside. Defended by Butler. Here's Giles. The second chance effort. Pass to McConnell. Passes it to Looney. It's Powell on the wing. And not a good shot for him. They can get better looks than that. Minnesota leading by 5. Farrell kicks to Towns. A minute 50 left in the third. The shot by Butler, nobody around. No good from outside. Butler's gotten only 4 of his 11 shots to fall here so far. Here's Powell. Pass to Giles. McConnell kicks it to Looney. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. Here's Giles. And he goes strong with the one-handed jam. Great game for him. Double-double now. 11 points and 11 rebounds. 1:14 left to play in the third. Here's Towns. Off the left rim and out.
A frustrating start to this quarter.
Looney kicks to McConnell. Pass to Looney. Here's Giles. Covered by Monroe. Rejected by Monroe. And now the Timberwolves on the break. Here's Towns. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. 11 points for Karl Anthony Towns.
They lean on him for a big portion of their scoring, with a good reason.
McConnell passes to Powell. Back to McConnell. In the corner, Powell with it. And he uses the glass on the layup. Powell's got his first basket.
That was all about the assist. Great pass to set up the shot.
Here's Farrell. He's been patient so far. Nothing yet on the scoreboard. Dishes it to Monroe. Barton outside. Screen by Monroe. Towns. The putback. He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points. And the Timberwolves lead by 5.
Oh, big time put back there. What a great motor on this guy.
There is no one who goes after to those rebounds harder. And we've reached the end of the third. Timberwolves lead by 5. And we'll get it going after this from the Target Center. And now we take a listen into the recent huddle from Tom Thibodeau.
Defensively, make sure we're all getting rebounds.
We've got a great game on our hands as we welcome you back. The fourth quarter of action getting started. Timberwolves leading by 5. Butler teams with Wiggins as the deadly wing duo. Favors is out there with Karl Anthony Towns. And it's Young in at the 1. So that's the lineup for Minnesota. Butler against Richardson. And Butler gets it to go. Butler's got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for the Timberwolves. Rozier kicks to Anderson. The feed now to Richardson. The dish to Davis. Anderson outside. Higgins against Richardson. Back to Anderson. Some solid defense from Butler.
That is some tough defense there against one of the better finishers in our game.
Young outside. Here's Wiggins. Can't hit that one. Davis with some nice D.
It's been a rough game for him, but it won't sting too bad as long as they hang on to the lead.
Here's Rozier. They get it back. Anderson outside. The pass to Anabogu. Uses both hands to slam it down.
And wait to finish and cut into that lead a little bit.
Yeah, but look at the basket guy still shaking. Towns sets the pick for Young. Three-pointer, Butler, rebounded by Anabogu.
Well, he had one three-pointer in the first half, but so far in the second, he's come up with goose eggs.
Passes to Rozier. Anderson against Young. Here's Rozier. Back to Anderson. Over Young. Pass to Rozier. Kicks it to Anderson. Right side Davis. Pass to Rozier. Left side Anderson. To the inside. And the rejection by Favors.
Look, it would be a huge boost for them if he could start knocking it down.
Butler from outside. Seattle grabs the miss. Anabogu's got 9 rebounds now tonight. It's Anderson with the drive. Yes, that goes in.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
We're in the final quarter of play here. 3 minutes in. Favors with the screen. Richardson against Butler. Over Richardson. No good off the back of the rim. Seattle trails by 3. Anderson outside. And there's the pass to Rozier. 18 feet away, and he knocks it down.
A fantastic shot by Rozier. I mean, exactly the kind of shot you want him taking when he's got space.
Young outside. Butler dishes to Towns. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. And that's 13 points for Karl Anthony Towns.
And you don't want to allow too many of those short ones with the game right now in the balance.
Anderson outside. Feeds to Davis. Kicks it out to Richardson. Back to Davis. Over Young. And Davis can't get it to go. Timberwolves leading by 3. Butler on the wing. Richardson covering. And it's Butler missing.
Hard to tell if he's just lacking energy in the second half, but it does not look like he's himself.
Davis kicks to Rozier. Feeds it to Richardson. He dishes it to Davis. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. Lets it go from 11. Passes it to Anabogu. Here's Rozier. He's covered by Favors. Richardson against Young. Now here's Richardson. Tight defense on him. No good. Shot missing. Good defensive work there by Young. He kicks to Wiggins. Stolen by Anderson. Here's the break. And the rejection by Towns.
And his foot movement is what makes Towns such a terrific shot blocker. He moves so well and can defend just about any position on the floor.
Pass to Rozier. Richardson kicks to Davis. Anderson outside. Back to Davis. Over Favors. Seattle missing again.
The inside just a bit too congested for him to get the usual shot he would have with rhythm.
Dishes it to Young. Now the feed to Towns. Pocket 6. Here's Wiggins. And good. He nails it. And the Timberwolves lead by 5.
He has a very well-rounded offensive game. There's just no shortage of ways Wiggins has to punish an opponent, inside, outside, or otherwise.
Davis sets a screen. Rozier the pass to Davis. Another miss, and they desperately need a bucket. Timberwolves leading by 5. Towns dishes to Young. Good, and the assist goes to Towns. Towns has got his 3rd assist on the night.
Ooh, the feed was perfect. The timing, the placement, everything was right on the money.
Davis kicks to Richardson. Back to Davis. Here's Rozier. They set the pick. Off the pick. It's rebounded by Towns. Here we go, one-on-one. And that one's good by Butler. And now it's a 9-point Minnesota lead.
And they've done some nice work as we've come down the stretch here in the final quarter.
Well, part of it's been their toughness, but their execution has been spotless. It's just outstanding teamwork in this final period.
Here's Davis. Towns with the defensive effort.
And so far this quarter, he's been a little off on his game.
Yeah, the scoring, I mean, it's not coming easy for him. You have to get into a little rhythm, but that's when you can make the extra pass. Play the role of a facilitator.
And that monster lead continues to grow. They are just piling it on now.
But give the coach a little credit. It's been some great play calling. Each guy doing his part. This is what you're hoping to achieve.
And now the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, Karl Anthony Towns.
And he's provided them with a major mismatch on that low block tonight. That they've been able to lean on his scoring in the paint. And if nothing else has worked, he's given them a reliable option on every possession.
Some players rise to the occasion in the playoff spotlight, and some wilt under it. We know which type he is. What a stunning night for him. And Seattle making a change here. McConnell's checked in. Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge, who's reporting from the sidelines.
Hey, Kevin, during the last break, I heard Seattle's coach as he addressed the team. He is not happy with the turnovers. He said, we have got to get some shots. It's as simple as that, guys. Play smart and value the basketball. We'll see if the message sunk in, Kevin.
The dish to Davis. Over Towns. And it's Davis missing.
Yeah, really frustrating right now. They just can't seem to stem the tide here.
Yeah, going up against a big run, trying to mount one of your own. I mean, it's exhausting and takes a tremendous amount of energy here.
In the corner, it's Richardson. Wiggins against Anderson. Here's Anabogu. Tipped away. That's out of bounds. Seattle will retain possession. 2:16 left in the fourth quarter of this one. Is McConnell, and they force the shot clock violation. Great D. .112 left in the fourth. Now, here is Young. Higgins outside. Down low. Here's Favors. And a slam dunk by Favors.
And now they are probably too far ahead. It's going to be nearly impossible to get back in this one.
That's why you can't let yourself get in this deep a hole. Very little time now to climb out.
Well-coordinated shot mechanics, especially for a guy with his length.
Well, come on, he's fluid from that medium range. He gets everything working together.
Young passes to Butler. Towns the screen. Higgins outside. Clock at 6. Kicks it to Towns. Over Davis. No good on that one. Seattle goes the other way with it.
And with the time remaining, I'm just not seeing it.
Well, you know they like to have some plays back, especially a couple of those stupid ones from earlier. But I tell you what, they'll learn from this.
Well, you see the struggles he's having getting anything to go.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know if he can just break through this cold streak, he can give you what you need.
And Young kicks to Wiggins. Out to Favors. And so it's the Timberwolves taking care of business here. Things were looking bleak for him, obviously, coming into this game. But with tonight's win, Greg, they are right back in it.
And that's the fight this team has. They